Hello students, and welcome to this video for Word Chapter 3 hands-on exercise number 2. So this is on page 298 of your textbook, page 298. You can see here, step A, it tells us to open up the file we worked on last time. So Word Chapter 3 hands-on exercise 1, trailer, and then of course your name. And it says here we need to save it with the name H2. So File, Save As. I'm going to choose Browse, and then of course make sure it's in the right folder. It already should be, but if you need to, you can change it to which folder it needs to be. And then down here where the name is, of course you're changing it from H1 to H2 because this is hands-on exercise number 2. So I'm going to save that one. And then next thing I'm going to do here is step B on page 298. It says ensure that page 5 is shown displaying table 1 and table 2. So I'm going to go down to page 5. Displaying table 1 and table 2. So right here is what I'm looking for. And then it says click on the last row of table 1. So table 1 right here, I'm clicking in the last row, which is down here. Remember, rows are left and right, columns are up and down. So left and right, up and down for columns. Then it says click insert below in the rows and column group on the table tools layout tab. So here's my table tools layout tab, and then it says I'm doing this in the rows and column group. So right here, insert below is what I'm looking for. I click that, then it says click in the third column on the new row. So I got a column here going up and down, a column here, and a column here. This is my third column of a new row, so I'm clicking right here in this cell. And I'm going to type the words total, the word, and then apply a bold formatting. So I'm going to select it, go to the Home tab, and choose bold. Then it says, with the word still selected, click Align Top Right. So I'm actually going to go to Layout tab here. Over here's my alignment group, Alignment Top Right. So this one right here. So now we're going to add in a row in which to place the economic impact figure. So click in the cell immediately below the last economic impact number. So economic impact is this column over here. We're clicking in the row immediately after, or below, so right down here. Click formula in the data group. Over here's my data group. I'm still in the table tools layout tab. I click on formula, and then this box comes up. Now formulas are a great way of, basically the idea is that you can put in the formula. It's like a mathematical equation that will take the numbers in the certain boxes, the cells, and go and do whatever it is you want the formula to do. So I can go and tell, okay, I want this box to be these two cells added together. Well, if I change the numbers in the cells, it's going to update for me. Or I can choose to have it update without having to type in new numbers each time. So it's pretty nice. So we clicked formula in the formula data group, and then we're going to accept the suggested function. So sum above, click the number format arrow. So here's number format, and the arrow is over here. And it says to select this one right here, number sign, comma, number sign, 0. And then it says click OK. So I just put in my formula. You'll notice it doesn't it kind of has that highlight to it. That means it's a formula. So the economic impact is that number right there. Then step D, click Insert Right in the rows and columns group. So over here, Insert Right, rows and columns group. You'll notice it added now a new column, up and down column. And then it says here, click the last cell in the second row. So I got first row, second row right here of the column, and type percentage of total. Text will wrap in the cell, which means it goes down to the next line, so that's good. Step E, click in the last column of the third row. So last column of the third row. So I got 1 row, 2, 3. So this is my third row. This is the last column right here. So under percentage of total. Then it says click formula in the data group. So we're going to add in another formula. And it says drag to select the suggested function in the formula box. So basically click and drag to get rid of the function. And then we're typing in here what's in the textbook. So equal sign, every formula begins with an equal sign, D3/D8, asterisk, that's shift and the number 8, which means times or multiply by 100. Click the number format arrow, which is right over here, and it says scroll through the options and select 0.0%. So it's down at the very bottom of my list here, and then click OK. And you can see here it added in my percentage of 41.73%. All right, step E, click in the last column of the private hospitals row. So this is the private hospitals row right here. I'm going to the last column, so over to the right. Click the formula in the data group. So formula, press backspace to remove the suggested function, and type in the following. So equal sign D4/D8, slash means divide, and then asterisk, so multiply by 100. And now our number format's already set up, so we press OK after we've typed this in. And now the number format remains at 0.00%, so we don't need to change it, so that's good. All right, step G, in the last column of retail interest. So you notice I'm already clicking without thinking about it down here. Click in the last column of retail interest and repeat step F, changing D4 in the formula to D5. So I click up here on formula, and I'm changing it. I'm getting rid of this part. I can keep my equal sign, but I'm changing it to D5/D8 asterisk by 100. So that looks correct. So D5 divided by D8, and I click OK, and it's added it in for me. Create a formula for food services, drinking establishment, or food services and drinking establishments and retail companies, adjusting the row reference each time. So I click on this one right down here, and I'm going to do D6 instead of D5. So I'm just adding one each time, going up a number for each one. So D6/D8 asterisk 100, just like that. And then one more time, this is going to be D7. So you want to pay attention enough to remember the numbers, but it's pretty simple here. So D7 through D8, and adjusting the row reference in each formula. So it should look something like this by the time you're done. And if you need to, go back, pause when I put up the formula, and that'll help you too. All right, step H, change the number in economic impact for real estate companies in the second to last row in the table from 348,999,342 to this one right here. So instead of 348, I'm changing it to 338. Right click the total in the next row, which is this one right here, excuse me, next row. I went for the next column, next row. Right here it says right click it, and then it says click update field. If you put in a formula, it's going to show update field. If you just type this number in, it's not going to work. So you should have put in a formula. If you didn't, go back and redo the step. I believe the step for that one is step C. So, all right, right click on the total. We did that. Update field. Right click percentage of total. So right up here, percentage of total for real estate companies in the last column of the second to last row. So right up here, the 8.23. I'm right clicking it and I'm choosing to update the field. So this one right here, and you notice the change because I changed this number, so it affected this number and this one right here. All right, right click each remaining percentage figure in the last column, updating each field. So I basically just keep going up, right click, update field, right click, update field, right click, update field. And you can see it changes a little bit each time. Okay, then we're going to save the document. That's step I. All right, we're on step 2 here of your textbook, step 2. Page 300, we're going to sort data in a table and include a recurring table header. So we're on step A. Show non-printing characters if they're not already displayed. So I'm going to click Home, Paragraph Group, the Show and Hide button. Position the pointer just outside the left edge of the third row of table 1. So left edge of third row. So I got row 1, row 2, and row 3. And I'm doing it just outside the left edge, so it's going to look like this. Don't click up here on this thing. It's going to look like this. If you need to, it helps to zoom in It'll help you to see it a little bit better and position the pointer. The pointer should be a right-oriented white arrow, so you can see that. Drag down to select the 5 rows containing a description. Do not include the file total row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to look like that. Alright, step B, we're going to click Sort in the Data group of the Table Tools Layout tab. So Table Tools, Layout tab, and we're going over here to the Data group. And we're going to choose Sort, which is right here. Alright, it says, excuse me, I'm going to get all these notifications right now. Alright, so we clicked Sort in the Data group. Click Sort By arrow and select column 4. So here's my Sort By group, and here's the arrow, and I see column 1. We're going to choose column 4, and it says click Descending in the column 4 section. So that's over here. So column 4, Descending's over here, and then it says click OK. So it looks like this: column 4, Descending, OK. And you can see it shuffle things around a little bit. Now it says position the pointer, this is step C, just outside the left edge of the 3rd row of table 2. So I've got row 1, row 2, and row 3. And I'm just outside the left edge. And it says I'm going to drag to select the remaining rows. So I click over here and hold down and drag it, and it looks like this. So these 3 rows right here. I'm going to go up a little bit more so you can see both of them again. Then it says click Sort in the Data group, so already Layout tab for Table Tools, Sort, and then I'm choosing here, make sure column 1 displays in Sort By box. So here's my Sort By, column 1 is already displaying, which is good, and then click Ascending, so over here column 1, Ascending, and then click OK. And you can see here it's changed it, it's alphabetized, C, E, O. Alright, step D, we're moving through these here quickly. Click before the words Table 1 in the first multi-line paragraph outside the table. So right here, I'm going to click up here, Table 1, before it. Press Enter. So I just did that. Click before the second blank paragraph under Key Findings. So 1 blank paragraph, 2. It says to click before it. So right here. Then it says click the Insert tab, so Insert, Object, Arrow, and then we're going to choose Text from File. So you should have gone on Plus Portals, downloaded the file if you needed to. So I actually need to do that right now. So I'm going to have it load. Remember, if you went and you forgot, how to do this, remember you go on to Plus Portals, you're going to choose your class. You'll notice mine looks a little bit different from yours. And I'm going to go down to the assignment. I usually organize them by due date, which makes it easier for me to find. So W3H2 right over here. And I'm going to click that download arrow. And you can see Key Findings is there. And there's also a text file. So I'm going to download both of those. Okay, good. And then exit out. Okay, so I'm going to go to Downloads here because I just downloaded those files. And it says here I want to get Key Findings. So I'm actually going to just search it. Oh. Right here, Key Findings, W3H2 Key Findings. And that's what it says here to insert on step D of page 300. So I just inserted that. Then it says scroll to the bottom. This is step E, page 301. Scroll to the bottom of page 5 and note that table 2 is now split between pages with several rows on page 6. Those rows are not identified by column heading, source, and description. Select the first 2 rows of table 2. So the first 2 rows are these ones. And I'm going to actually just go position it to the left outside of it and select it that way. Excuse me. My allergies bugging me a little bit. And then select it. We already selected the first 2 rows of table 2, which is good. Click Table Tools Layout tab. So Table Tools Layout tab up here. And then it says click Repeat Headers in Data Group. So here's my Data Group Repeat Header Rows. And you'll see it repeats these header rows on the next page. All right, step F, click undo. So it's showing us we can do that, but we're going to be adjusting it and fixing it. Click before the words Table 2 presents. So right here, Table 2 presents. Press Control and Enter to insert a manual page break. So I could do the repeat headers, but instead I'm just going to do Control Enter, and it looks like this. And then save the document. That's step G. Okay, we're on step 3, and that looks like it's our second last step here. All right, that's page 302. Step A. It says click the table move handle for table 2. So when you hover over table 2, you see this little thing come up. That's our table move handle. It says to click it once. You'll notice it selects the whole table when you click on it. Click Table Tools, Design tab. So Design tab, and click Border Styles in the Borders groups. So over here's Border Styles. I'm going to click on that. Click Double Solid Lines, Half Point Accent 4. So it says your third row. So 1, 2, 3, fifth column. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's this one right here. Double solid lines. Let me put it here. So you can see it. Double solid lines, half point, accent 4. So I click on that. Then it says here, click the borders arrow in the borders group. So borders arrow in the borders group, and it says to select all borders. So you notice I selected the style, but it didn't actually change until I selected this. It actually activated Border Painter, which we'll use here in a bit. All right, step B, it says to select row number 1. So step B, select row number 1 in table 2. So I'm going to do that. I click up here, row number 1. Click the shading arrow in the table styles group. So shading arrow, table styles group. And it says select more colors. So down here, more colors. Then it says click the custom tab. So I do that. Adjust the red to 240. And so I'm just going to type these in, 240, green to 239, and then blue to 29. So you notice I just click and drag, select the text, and then type those things in, and then click OK. And you'll see here it changed the shading of it to what we wanted. Alright, now it says select rows 2, 3, 4, and 5 in table 2. So 2, 3, 4, and 5. I really like this select here, outside edge. It works very well. 2, 3, 4, 5. Click the shading arrow and click purple, accent 4. So shading, it says purple, accent 4, and it says lighter by 40%. So that's 80%. That's 60. And this one's 40. So the middle one right here is the one we're looking for. Alright, it says D, click pen color in the borders group. So right here, pen color. Click the yellow color shown under recent colors. So down here is my recent color. I just changed my pen color. The pointer displays as an ink pen, indicating the border painter is active. The line style and line weight retain the earlier settings. So what we used earlier, drag the pen along the horizontal border, dividing row 1 and 2, 1 from 2 in table 2. So right here, this line, I click and drag across. You notice here I got to line it up, and I let go, and you can see there's that change. Alright, it says next, drag the pen along the horizontal border, dividing rows 2 and 3. So I start here, and you can see when it selected because it changes, and it just did it for me there. Do the same for the next 2 horizontal borders, dividing row 3 and 4, and row 4 and 5. So you see I'm clicking and dragging is how I'm doing it. Drag the pen along the vertical border, dividing the first column from the second. So I click up here. You notice it's near the edge. You can see I have the pointer like that as well. So I've drawn that. And then once we've drawn that vertical line, it's going to look like this. We push the escape button to deactivate the border painter. Otherwise, we could click up here too and do that as well. Alright, step G, click anywhere in table 1. So table 1. You'll notice I had to click first for the table move handle to come up. So sometimes you have to click. Then I click on the table move handle once to select everything. Then it says click the border styles arrow. So I click on border styles, and it says select double solid lines, half point, accent 4. So third row, fifth column. So the one we had earlier. Third row, fifth column. It's right here. So I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like that. Okay, I have it selected. Click the borders arrow, and right here, borders arrow, and it says select outside borders. So I'm clicking outside borders. Then step H, select row 1 and table 1. So this is my first row up here. And then it says click the shading arrow in the tables group and click purple accent 4. So right here, purple accent 4. Then it says select rows 2 through 8. So this is row 2. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So all the rows basically, except for the top one. 2 through 8. Then click the shading arrow. So again, and we're clicking purple accent 4, 40% lighter, which I believe is this one right here. Alright, good. Step I, click the table move handle to select the table 1. So I just did that. Click the borders arrow. So borders arrow. And it says click borders and shading. So that's all the way down the bottom, borders and shading. Click the all button in the setting area. So setting is over here, all. I set that first. Then scroll up and click the first selection in the style box. So here's my style box. I'm clicking the first selection. Oh, excuse me, I need to scroll up. I didn't scroll up first. I just clicked the first one that looked like. So make sure this is all the way up and then do it. So I've selected that one. Click the width and select 1 point. So width is currently set to half a point, so I put it to 1 point. And then it says click OK. And now it's added in the settings I want to change. Alright, step J, click anywhere in table 1. So I just click anywhere, puts my insertion point. We're looking like that right now. Click the references tab. So up here, references tab, it's right after layout. And it says click insert caption. Now you're clicking insert caption, not insert citation. It needs to be insert caption in the caption group. So I clicked on with the insertion point immediately after table 1. Now you notice I can't get rid of table 1. I just have to type after it. It says type colon space economic impact by industry. So I type in the colon space and then economic impact by industry. Ensure that below selected item is shown as the caption position. So position, you'll notice it's above, it needs to be below. So I click on it and change it. And then it says click OK. And you notice it's put a caption here down below. Alright, it says click the home tab. And then we're going to do, now don't move that insertion point. And that says click increase indent. So right here, increase indent. And then it moved it over for me just like that. Alright, now it says click anywhere in table 2. So I'm going down here to the next page. I'm clicking in table 2. Click insert a caption. So layout, or excuse me, references tab. Insert caption. I'm clicking on that again. And then it says the caption should read the following. So I'm going to hover my mouse over it. Table 2, I put the colon, and I type in sources of economic impact. Except I actually capitalized the M. Alright, there we go. Sources of economic impact. It should look like this. And then once you finish that, click the OK button. So it's selected to, oh, hang on a second. Let's double check and make sure. Table 2, we do need below selected items, so that is correct. Alright, I click OK. It does table 2. Then I click on the home tab. And that says click on Styles Dialog Box Launcher. So here's my Styles group. I'm clicking on the Dialog Box Launcher there. And then it says scroll down and point to Caption in Styles pane. So I'm looking for captions right down here at the very bottom for me. And then change the font size. So the way we do that, I can just right click on it, select modify. There's also, I think, a modify button down here, but I can do it that way. And it says I'm changing the font to 11. So right now it's on 9. Let's change it to 11. So right in here I'm clicking to change it and change the font color to purple, accent 4. So right here, purple, accent 4. And then click OK. And then also close the styles pane. Alright, I'm going to save the document. That's step I. And then we're on the final step, step 4, page 304. Step A, press Control and End to move to the end of the document. Control and End. So you can see I'm at the end of the document now. Click the object arrow. Or excuse me, click Insert tab. I skipped a bit. Object arrow. So here's Insert tab, my text group object. I'm clicking the arrow. And it says select text from file. And I'm going to Downloads. That's where I went and saved it to. Wherever you saved it to, you can go there. And it says I need W3H2 text. So we used key findings earlier. We're using text now. I click the insert button. You can see here it's added these things under it. Okay, now it looks like there should have been a line after Table 2 Sources of Economic Impact. So if yours looks like mine, click in front of description and push enter. So this is on a brand new row. So you can see how it's separate now. Then it says to select the newly inserted text. So I click and drag. Now notice I'm only selecting this. You shouldn't be selecting these enter spaces. You shouldn't be selecting any of those things, okay? So be careful of that. Oh, you know what? Hang on a second, though. Okay, here's what I need to do. I'm going to push enter. You'll notice it went and got rid of our settings. So you might need to go back like how I had to do. If this change didn't happen to you, don't worry about it. But notice I went and pushed enter, so I have a new space, new row under here, and then insert the text from file. So you might have to undo that, go back and fix it. So I'm actually just going to do this, W03. Text right there. Okay, there we go. Now we've got it. I'm going to select those rows. Now we're back where we were. So it should look like that with the purple. Okay, then click Table and the Tables group. So Table right up here. We're still on the Insert tab. And click Convert Text to Table. So down here. If you have it selected correctly, it will show the right number of columns and the right number of rows, which is 2 columns, 7 rows. If it's not looking like this, then you went and messed it up when you selected it. Alright, it says here, after you've done that, click OK to accept it. Now we have our table. And then step C, click More in the Table Styles group. So here's my table styles here. I'm clicking the More arrow over here. And then I'm going to select Grid Table 2, Accent 4. So here's my grid tables. And it says Accent 4. So second row, 1, 2, fifth column. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's this one right here. Grid table 3. Oh, actually, no. Grid table. Okay, apparently it's a little bit off. So it looks like row. Oh, okay, it looks like it's over here. So I had to go all the way over here. Grid table 2, accent 4. So let me click and show that one more time. So you can see the one I have selected. It's actually way over to the right side. It might be different on your screen. Okay, so that was step C. A little painful to find. That's okay. All right, now I have the table still selected. Click D in the newly created table. So I just click, get the insertion point there. Click the references tab. Then it says click insert caption, the caption group. We've already done that. Insert caption. And it says add the caption colon economic impact by employment. Economic impact by employment. You'll notice I put the colon there. Ensure that the position below selected item is selected. So that's correct. And then click OK. Alright, step E, it says click before the blank paragraph preceding table 3. So click before the blank paragraph preceding table 3. So right now there is no blank paragraph preceding, so that means coming before it. So we're going to do this. Click up here where I am. If you have a paragraph marker down here, go ahead and just do the step. Otherwise, I had to click up here, push enter, and you now see that new row. And I'm going to type in what it wants me to do. So it says click before the blank paragraph preceding it, then press enter. So I'm going to do it again here, and then type table 3 summarizes the total employment impact of Trailer University. Oh, I forgot my space. Alright, it says check the document for spelling errors and correct any that are identified. And then that's step F. So I press F7 so I can check spelling. It says spelling and grammar check is complete. We're good to go. Then step G, I save and close the document. And then of course you're going to submit this file the way you're instructed to for class. And that is how you complete Word Chapter 3 hands-on exercise number 2. And I'll scroll up here slowly, or try to go slowly, so you can see how it should look by the time you finish the document. So I have the last 2 pages we've been working on, and it should look something like this. Remember, this is the file you need to submit right here.